Yes, another 206 on the channel, but that's completely normal. Today is episode number 2 of the Raid Prepped 206 that I bought for 300 euros. Hi doggy, hi. If you didn't catch the first episode about this car, I'll give you a quick rundown. It's very simple. Basically, a few months ago I was invited by Amin, 205 Total Adventure, to take part in the rally raid called 206 Adventure, which will take place in Morocco in October. I think you've already understood 80% of what makes this car interesting. So this is a 206, a 1.4 HDI, 70 horsepower. Yeah, but don't worry. I raised the car by about 15 centimeters, I cut the fenders, I put on huge wheels, they're literally Suzuki Jimny tires with big treads. Except on this side, because if you saw the first episode, we have a little size problem, since because of the fuel filler neck, the fuel flap and the fuel tank, we can't put bigger wheels than this here. Believe me, that's already much better than the original, and the goal is to improve it further. Car that's 100% capable, that we can take all the way to the depths of the Moroccan desert and bring back here to Valence, France, in the most reliable way possible and in one piece. In the last episode, I took care of the lift, the big tires, and the paint job. You know, there's actually a pretty cool little paint job, and we also have under the car a good old skid plate. That's going to help us too. So today, we're going to take care of everything related to the car's safety and capability, especially the roll cage. Yes, I bought a roll cage. The only problem is that the roll cage comes as a kit, and I didn't get any instructions with it. So our dear American friend Clayton is going to come help us. Because believe it or not, his logic is quite a bit better than mine. And you never say no to a little help. Because yes, technically, when I bought the car, it was completely stock. You see, actually, it's still more or less stock. I just stripped out the back, mainly to save time. But basically, this is where our half roll cage is going to go. So yes, I chose to install only a half roll cage in the car, because a full roll cage, first of all, is a lot more of a hassle to install. It's a roll cage with 6 mounting points on the car, whereas with a half roll cage there are only 4, so it will still protect the car from being crushed, just not as well as a full roll cage. But since this is just for casual rallying, you see, even if it's for humanitarian purposes, if it's not a timed rally, we're not really racing, I just want to be able to protect. We're never gonna drive at 300 kilometers per hour in the dunes, you know what I mean? So yeah, a half-roll cage will be more than enough, and since I still want to put bucket seats with harnesses in the car, the half-roll cage will be perfect for this use. If you've been following the channel for a long time, you probably know that I actually started driving for the first time in a 206. My mother's, a 1.4 HDI with supervised driving. Then I myself had a number of 206s, 9 if I'm counting correctly. So, obviously mathematically, with 9 cars, I've driven a huge number of kilometers. Some of those kilometers were great, some were a lot less great. Like when, for example, I crashed my 206 S16 simply because someone came into my lane. I tried to avoid them, unfortunately I had absolutely no proof, and I ended up looking like a damn reckless driver. Yo?
Yo.
What's up?
What's up, man?
We're friends? Ouch, hello. Why is he here? Why are you here?
I don't know, you showed me your new thing.
Yeah, so 206 rally raid, yeah? Okay. Rally raid means safety. You need a roll cage. So you're here because I found half a roll cage on Le Bon Coin. Since there's no manual, I thought we could install it together. Plus, you know how to weld if we need to tack it back together.
Well, no, half a roll cage, you buy a kit. It's better to buy a kit. You buy a kit, you don't have to worry, you don't have to bend, you don't have to cut, you don't have to grind, you don't have to...
No, it's gonna be a lot simpler. The idea is we just have to take it, I think, and put it in the trunk. Since it's a 3-door, it might be different from the others. We might have to modify it a bit, you know?
Yeah, there are some modifications to make, but...
The idea is, I think it's going to be over there, near the doors, something like that, so it doesn't get in the way of the bucket seats. So the bucket seats are those ones, the shiny ones over there. It's gonna be cool. They're out of date, but it's not a big deal.
That can expire?
Yeah, it can expire. I'm sure. It's true.
I didn't know that.
And then for the back, well, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Are you up for it?
Yeah, go ahead. Show me the harness.
The roll bar?
Yeah, the roll bar, sorry.
It's there.
Yeah.
I told you there wasn't any manual.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's a kit. I wasn't lying about that either.
Yeah.
At the same time, I told you bring your pipe bender, you know? So, no, but yeah. So, in terms of legislation, rules, stuff, FIA things, there's no need. Where we're going, like I explained, it's an amateur thing, it's not a problem. On the other hand, I know that normally, to make roll cages, you need tubing with a certain standard. This is rolled and welded tubing. I know it's not recommended. And anyway, it's to keep us from dying, okay? It's not for competitions, etc. So the important thing is that we can bend it, weld it, put it in the car, and honestly, that'll already be great.
Are you up for it?
Not really.
I'm already too hot.
It's really hot. As far as I know right now, we have 2 6-meter bars. They're 48.3 millimeters in diameter and 3 millimeters thick. I think that should do it. What should we do first? Should we choose where to put the main hoop?
Well, I've never made a roll cage before, but let's start by defining our support points, let's say. So I think we're going to have a hard time with your sheet metal there. We'll have to make some plates in the recesses over there in each corner, next to the doors. Once that's done, we define our main hoop. After the main hoop is tacked in, we can add our diagonals, followed by a reinforcement diagonal.
I don't think that's the hardest part. Once the main part is done, the rest should go smoothly.
Next, install the harness bar and make sure it's level with your shoulders or slightly lower, since if it's too low, it could injure your spine in a crash. That's the purpose of the harness bar. Have you heard that? There are guys, listen, they've got the harness and they mount it right there at the lowest point so it ends up like this.
That's crap, isn't it?
I heard it could break your spine in two if there's an accident.
Yeah, we want to avoid that.
Yeah, it's not that great.
No, it's not great. So there are still a couple of things to watch out for. Let's go. Alright, a few hours later, Clay is finishing up welding the two plates in the chassis to make the start of the roll cage. The loop, the first big loop, I don't know how to explain it better. And it's tough because there's a lot of smoke in the workshop, so we have to keep it open. But outside it's like 38 degrees, I think. It's unbearable. And still, the worst is Clay, because he's been welding non-stop for a while now. I just did a couple of spot welds here and there, but Clay, he's laying down long beads. It's rough. Look, already on this side, it looks really, really good. Of course, it could be better. It can always be better. But it could be worse. But yeah, the big problem with these things is that they're right next to those big rubber seals. And actually, they burn and smoke. It's crazy, like in the garage, it's just awful.
As is often the case with this kind of meticulous and perfectly planned project, everything was going perfectly well, until something went wrong. Anthony, in his great genius, didn't think it was necessary to remove the diesel tank before welding. Very good idea, Mr. Perrier.
The other one.
So, where do you want to spray? Actually, we have diesel burning in the tank there. I really didn't think diesel could burn like that. Oh shit, the bottle. Damn, yeah, I saw the flames. Oh, that's really bad. Archie, come here. I saw smoke that wouldn't stop, so I checked under the car and found a hole in the gas tank. It was on fire. Whoa. Before we started, I thought, no need to remove the gas tank since diesel doesn't burn. Oh, that's really messed up though. We agree it was the diesel burning, right?
It started to smell like diesel.
Yeah, it smells like diesel. It smells like when I turned the heater on in my Defender. There was a real moment of panic there. Well, I need to find a tank because that's risky. Actually, no, I don't need to find a tank. I don't give a damn. I'll replace it with that in mind anyway.
But why are you busting my balls about your tank?
Why didn't we take it down? I'm so stupid. I should have done it sooner. This is the tank, guys. It's really hot. No, honestly, I'm not feeling well right now. I'm really not feeling well.
After this really uncool mistake, the two protagonists of this video got busy taking apart the tank. A little too late.
But they did it anyway to avoid the worst for the rest of the day. Well, that's one thing done. It makes some space, right? It leaves a lot of room for imagination. That's a good thing. Oh yeah, man, did you see the welds? They really penetrated well, huh? I didn't even need to show the welds for people to understand how well they penetrated, you know? Especially those ones, actually.
Yeah.
No, it's hardcore, really. Be really careful with that, guys. Let's just say this video should serve as a lesson. Check out the size of the hole, man. It's crazy. Show it compared to your hand, knowing he already has a weapon, you know? No, your hands are too big. Look, with me it works better. It looks even scarier. So yeah, be very careful. That was a little safety interlude. We're going to get back to it. So, first debrief about bending our main hoop. It's a disaster. I know in the comments you're going to say, yeah, you should have used special steel seamless TU37B, that's crappy steel you bought where you get scrap metal. Exactly.
It's not good.
It's not good, huh? Even then, it would have been almost acceptable. We think, okay, let's try the other side. But here, there's a real problem.
The material isn't good.
You think it's just the material? Anyway, the rest, well, there's always the possibility of filling it with sand. Yeah, I've already read about it on forums and stuff. I know there are guys who do that. There's a way we could do that, huh? Man, I'm so annoyed.
Man, nothing's going right today.
Nothing's going right today, it's the heat.
If we weren't foolish, we'd stop now, but how?
I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to think right now.
Oh, the close-up on it.
Oh no!
I could have bent it with a hammer. It would have been the same.
Yes, I think so.
After this complete failure at bending, they still decided to use that tube as a prototype to see if it would fit in the 206. And after an intense reflection of about 8 minutes and 14 seconds, They decided to try the technique of
sand. I had read about that trick on the internet. Actually, technically, you fill your tube with sand and that way you have incompressible air so it can't collapse anymore. What do? Do we weld some caps on?
You weld caps, attach a bottle at the end, fill it, tap it with a hammer, pack it tightly, and once it's overflowing, weld another cap on. Bending it then prevents deformation.
We're going to try this myth now. I look like it.
You've never seen Thai people do it?
No.
Dude, they're there, they've got like pieces of bamboo, it's crazy. You see them, they're in the jungle, they're there with their tiger, they're making exhausts, they've got a piece of pipe, and clack, 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 they break a piece of wood inside, they fill it with sand, they hit it, they break another piece of wood inside to plug it, and then they do hot bending, and they clamp it in a vise, and boom, they bend it, they pull, they heat it, and it makes some crazy stuff.
No way.
If I weren't American, I'd be Thai.
We're going to Castorama to buy a bag of sand for 45 euros. That's the plan, and we'll try. Yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
And there you go, that's the technique. Okay, now we're going to bend it. We'll film it sped up. It's going to be awesome. It's nighttime. It's not a green screen. It's actually night. What is it, like 4 or 5 hours, something like that? I can't take it anymore, but in my opinion, Clayton is worse off than I am. So first, did the sand technique work?
It worked perfectly.
Perfectly.
There isn't much distortion on the large arches. The angles are tight.
Honestly, compared to earlier, it's crazy, the difference. So it's not a myth. It really works. There's a slight pinch here, but it's really very mild compared to that.
Yeah, phew.
That was just a test, okay? Honestly, it didn't go well. It was more complicated than expected.
I'm never doing a roll again. I don't want to. It's horrible.
Actually, before that, so it was a joke, you know, the thing about, yeah, I have a roll coming to help me. We really talked about it, you know, just so you know. I'm just saying that for those who might not have caught on. He told me, yeah, go ahead, don't worry, roll, no problem.
Problem?
Problem? Problem? No, actually, it's doable. It's doable, except that here, we were really helped by the fact that it's a 5-door. So, already in a 3-door, it's annoying because the arch is in the same place, except, well, you have to work like this. So, a lot less fun. It means you have to do everything from the inside. Honestly, I'm really glad it's a 5-door, but for how I'm going to use it, it'll be much easier to store stuff in the back and all that. But yeah, note to ourselves, always remove a tank when welding plates.
Yeah, never again, that too.
There you go, actually, just the roll cage, never again.
Yeah, roll cage work, never again. Welding next to a fuel tank, never again.
But here, it's clean. Right. So here we tacked it onto the mounting plates that are welded onto the car's crossmember. So it's solid. And over there, on the long tube, directly, or at least a little above the long tube. So it's solid, that's not a problem. Now, what's left to do?
The horizontal crossmember?
Yeah, a horizontal crossmember over there for the harnesses and a diagonal. And then, on those two things there, a cross or something like that, I don't really know.
You don't have to, you know, that's just reinforcement, you know. Here, you make a straight crossmember here.
Yeah, that's it.
At the right height. And then, once you're there, you add a little diagonal brace there, you see, at the contact point at the bottom. And up to about, yeah, come on. If you're up for it, you go in there. And after that, that's it, you know. You don't need reinforcement between those two rear braces.
Me? I was thinking of making a cross or something there, right?
If you want to bother with it, you can, but you really don't have to, honestly. Given how little it'll actually help, you really don't have to.
Well, technically, like I was saying earlier to Hugo who stopped by to say hi, we're not going there to have an accident. There's no risk, normally. If we see that we're about to have an accident, we stop the car. Well, generally, it doesn't really happen like that when... No, but honestly, this is already going to be really, really, really solid. And damn, just look at it. Honestly, it's super clean.
Really with,
No, but that's crazy. And wait, because there's something I have to show you, though.
Yeah, the angle.
You have to know that it's all just guesswork. It's just, I eyeball it and grind about the same way on the left and right. Look, here, 50.6 degrees, and here, look on this side, 50.6. Even though it's just guesswork, man. It's crazy. Stop pretending.
It's all in here.
It's fucking guesswork, man.
It's NASA PDLV Racing?
No, it's great. I'm really happy. Thanks, man.
All right, I'm going to head home.
Yeah, you deserve it, man. Honestly, you deserve it.
I'm really happy for you. That's awesome.
And of course, Clayton, you can find him on Instagram. I'll put his Insta right here and in the description.
Noel Steelworks.
Exactly. And you can find all his work there. Recently, he made galleries for Cayenne. Exhaust line, exhaust downpipe, turbo, engine mount, gearbox mount.
Yeah, that's right. Gearbox mount.
So that's how it began with the 505. Thanks. The story's not over yet.
This is just the beginning.
You're gonna come back, huh? With the 505? I'm warning you right now. All right, buddies, man. Have a good trip.
Bye.
Bye, Captain America.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Well, it's been a few days, you know, since Clayton came to the workshop, especially regarding the roll cage. So that doesn't mean the roll bar is finished, but it does mean I've made really good progress on it. There's no break. Huh? Basically, I've already done all the welds. Wow, it's splendid, splendid. And I added this kind of diagonal here to reinforce everything. I also did the welds all the way up there. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, those ones I don't really want to show you up close, you know? So now, what's left to do to finish the roll bar is to put a bar between the two sides of the main loop. A horizontal bar so we can attach our harnesses. Cause yeah, since the car is now a real rally car, well, we need harnesses. There's a half roll cage, we're going to put in bucket seats and so harnesses. I can't install this horizontal bar until I know where my bucket seats are because I need to match the angle. If the angle is too low and the harness drops too far from the bucket seat, it can cause spinal compression in an accident. I definitely don't want that. I want a car that makes its passengers feel safe. So, well, obviously the next step is this. Install this OMP bucket seat. It's super comfortable. It's a size small, so I'm sorry I won't be able to lend the car to people who are a bit bigger than me. There's a little bit of room, but not much. Thanks so much to La Bonnette for giving it to me for free in exchange for something. I can't even remember what. Big hugs. You'll know who you are. But of course, installing these bucket seats means making a few modifications. I'm taking out the original seat and we'll see what we can do. But the big advantage we have with the original seats is that they actually have sliders. Whereas with our Alibaba tuning seats, we don't have any sliders. By the way, if you often have an airbag warning light on your 206, I've said this too many times in old videos, it's probably because of this connector. There's a green connector under each seat and sometimes there's a bad connection at the connector. The trick is simple. You remove the connector and solder the wires together. Removing your seat is more annoying, but it could solve your problem for free. And there you go. Too easy. So basically what I'm going to do now is compare the bolt spacing of my bucket seat mounts with the bolt spacing of the original seat from the 206. There's a chance the spacing is the same. I take the rails from the 206, put them here, toss it back into the 206, and that's it. That'd be amazing. There's a chance this could work. Let's be honest, because here between this hole and this hole, we have exactly 45 centimeters, and here we have 34 centimeters. So maybe if we switch these things, if we put the legs facing outward from the seat instead of inward, then we might have exactly 45 centimeters. You see, just like that. And now, damn, we have 46.5 centimeters. If we enlarge the holes, yeah. Well, listen, it turns out that by taking seat rails from a 206 and then putting these things upside down, by persuading the screws just a little to go in, well, you can put original rails on a bucket seat, and that's pretty exceptional. I'm really happy. It's annoying. This is my first car with a deep dish steering wheel, bucket seat, harness, and roll cage. It's a 1.4 with 68 horsepower. Ridiculous and makes no sense. Well, listen, honestly, it looks pretty good. So it's definitely possible to install these bucket seats. I don't know if it's exactly the same width and everything, at least in a 206. Now it's really starting to look like a rally raid car. I'm getting really happy, look. Yeah. So, as you can see, anyway, I'm building this car for the looks. Because tires this big on a car with so little power, it's not recommended. Of course, I heard you. I'm not going to leave tires like that. Really off-road, big treads. First, they're very heavy. And second, actually, in the sand, the bigger the treads, the more the car will get stuck. As soon as it starts to slip, it's going to act like a shovel. And then the car will just sink. So, there you go. Of course, that has moved. But look, in the front, it really looks like a little rally car now. It's awesome. I'm so happy. So there are still a couple of small problems left. Like here, the plastic or just the seatbelt being there. Clearly, you can't move the seat forward with the seatbelt here. And you can't move it forward with this piece of plastic here either. Well, you can, but you have to hold the seatbelt and so on. It's complicated. However, I still don't know if I'm going to keep the seatbelts in the car. This would mean reinstalling buckles on our bucket seats, since the seatbelt buckle was originally attached to the seat. It's not very complicated. You would just need to take this thing and, with a nut, attach it to our big metal plate that holds the seat. So that's really not a problem at all. However, I don't know if it's legal to drive on the road with small harnesses like this. I got some small 3-point harnesses from GT2i. It's not sponsored or anything, but I got this thing. I'm wondering if, because of this buckle, maybe we can drive on the road with it. I need to check. If we can, I'll remove the original seatbelts and just use the harnesses. It'll look cool and feel safe to me. But on the other hand, if we can't, I need to find a way to put the original seatbelt back. Well, to keep the original seatbelt with the original buckle and so on. And keep the harnesses either just for style or for when we're in Morocco. Because over there, the laws might not be exactly the same as here. So now, that means the next step will be to weld our horizontal bar here at the front buckle. And find the height where it will be safe to put our harness. I think it's a maximum of 25 degrees. If we take our axis like this, it has to be 25 degrees like this. Or horizontal no more. By the way, something I didn't mention, and that's unrelated. related. I installed the roof bars and the Petite Taxi roof rack with Hugo. So it's a real roof rack that you can find on Moroccan taxis. I think it's super cool. You see it's written in Arabic, Petite Taxi, and this one comes from Casablanca. I think it's funny. It's a nod to the country we're crossing, which is nice. Yeah. Hi, yes. So, a few weeks have passed between the last scenes and now, and you should know that I really haven't done much on the car. And you should also know that between now and the rally raid, well, the 206 adventure, I have 1 month. Literally, there's 1 month. There are like 33 days before the rally starts and the car hasn't moved, and I have a lot of problems to fix. I can't go like this at all. Currently, on this 206, there's still no fuel tank. I need to do the timing belt, replace all 4 injectors, and finish the unfinished roll cage. I need to put in the second bucket seat, install the fire extinguisher, the temperature sensor that I'm going to add, and an intercooler on the air circuit because I'd like to add a bit more power. But without an intercooler, I'm not completely stupid. The 4 tires aren't right, they're still not the right size, and I need to lower the subframe because right now I still have a big problem. I'll show you. Here. So basically, the car already has positive camber and that annoys me. And especially when I turn the wheels now, it didn't do this before, but now it does. This. There you go, you're done. Did you see the drive shaft? It got stuck. I can't drive like this. It's not possible. The car is lifted now, so there's more stress on the drive shafts than normal. The car should settle and reduce stress when driving, but it's not happening. So we need to lower the subframe to bring down the crossing point of the drive shafts at the gearbox for both drive shafts. It's mostly happening here since this side has the longest drive shaft and the most. In any case, you have to lower the subframe, you see. And on the list of things to do, we'll also need to do a detailed cleaning of the whole bodywork to get rid of all these nasty spray paint marks. We also need to cut the rear bumper, remove the spare wheel well, and of course, weld here at the front of the rocker panel, since I'm definitely not supposed to be able to fit my hand in here. And as for the engine, I'll need to measure the fuel inlet hoses going into the engine so I can order the right fittings that match my tank. It's not an auxiliary tank, it's the tank I'm going to put in there, you get it. Well, that's it. 1 month, guys. A freaking month. Honestly, I'm happy because I feel like I work a bit better and faster when I'm under stress. And here, in this case, 1 month to finish a rally raid car that has to be reliable. The stress is real. Anthony, you shouldn't have taken on so much. This is your fault. Oh, shut up, damn it. Basically, the next thing I want to do in my car is to run a straight tube through the middle of my main roll bar so I can attach my harness to it. Because I'm not an expert at all, you know, but it seems to me that...
It seems to me that you are Anthony Perrier and your memory is failing you. Because as the voiceover, I can say that what you're about to explain during the 2 minutes about the harnesses has already been explained twice in the video. So let's shut up and move on to welding the crossbar that will hold the harnesses. He's crazy. Really crazy. A Bengal tiger.
Well, basically, I tacked the horizontal tube onto the... Okay, I'm sick of this damn roll cage. I take out the 2 front seats. I weld the roll bar. I put it back together. I paint the... video. Well, as you just saw, I welded the last bar. I think the welds you just saw there are among the worst welds of my entire life. Look, it's a disaster. Again, here it's good. Here it's good. But here, no, here it's not good here. Anyway, it's not a big deal. The important thing is that it looks good. And by the way, this is Hugo from PAL. Hi, Hugo.
Shut up!
We're doing the 206 adventure with him. You probably know him. His butt is familiar. Did you see how classy that was, man?
What I really saw was that he was naked.
So, what do you think about the little roll bar? Makes it look like a race car, right?
Honestly, it's outrageous to have that in a 1.4 HDI.
I say it in the video, it's crazy, right? Bucket seat, harness, roll bar, 1.4 HDI. Yeah, it's outrageous. So, it's cool, I'm pretty happy. Now, the goal is going to be to cover it up. We're going to put a big tarp everywhere. It's risky, so there aren't any paint fumes. I bought 3 cans of glossy white Montana. And well, the goal is to put paint everywhere so it looks clean. We also removed the tinted windows. So now, well, we can see really well. It's really cool. As you can see, it's time to paint and Hugo's on it. We don't have a mask. I'm aware it's not ideal, but we're making do. Wear a mask and be careful, everyone. We went to Castorama earlier and could have bought masks, but I didn't think of it. Classic youth. Now it's really starting to look like a real race car. I'm thrilled. It looks awesome. Painting the ceiling white was a great idea too. How's it going?
It's working.
Will it work?
It will work.
It will work. What just happened there? It's really cool. You can clearly see the problem. Honestly, painting the car here was ridiculous. Now I'm especially worried about it. Maybe it wasn't the best move, but it's still so cool. So now we're going to cut the bumpers pretty high just to really give it that rugged look. That's the rugged look, you know? Rugged, it's all about being rugged. Wow, man, that's awesome, right? It looks so intense. Well, with the doors open, you can't really see it yet, but now it looks like a real off-road beast, man, with those huge wheels. Do you like it?
Ah, damn, it's a prototype, this car.
It's a crazy prototype, huh?
It's incredible.
It's wild. Right now, you can't really tell. The wheels differ on each side, and the rear axle needs more paint to look clean. Plus, the exhaust system won't stay that way. But it's much less discreet than the 406. Wow. You want to join the 206 adventure too, but the guy filming isn't sharing details. Still, you can participate even with the start in 3 weeks. You need quick timing, but it's doable. You don't have to buy a 206 and prep it in 3 weeks. That's extreme. Only people like me do that. Yeah, I'm definitely really happy. It's the next day now. Things have moved along quite a bit. Hugo and I talked a lot last night about the car's progress. We came up with a ton of amazing ideas. So, we're going to jump on it right away, or almost. First, we're going to install the 2 front seats. Sit in the car, then move to the second seat and swap the steering wheel. Some time has passed, maybe 2 or 3 hours working on the car. What's the time? It's 5:54 p.m. Yeah, it's fine. I still have a little bit of time before the end of the day, so I'm really happy. Look, the 2 front seats are installed. It looks really great. Now right away, it's 2 bucket seats, a roll bar. I keep saying it, but I'm so happy. It really looks like a race car. It's so cool. Now, to reinforce even more the race car look, and especially to have a better driving position, because a bucket seat doesn't give you exactly the same driving position as a regular seat, once adjusted, it's set, whether it's the backrest, tilt, or height. On the 206, you can't adjust the steering wheel depth at all. You can adjust the height, but not the depth. We'll change the steering wheel now. It's simple. I remove this one, then install the new one. To do this, turn it sideways, use any tool, find the hole, and press. There, that's good. You take out your airbag, you disconnect the little wires and the connectors. Yeah, the clock spring and everything, you have to be careful, you really have to be careful with that. First, your battery has to be disconnected, that's one thing. But well, in this case, the battery has probably been disconnected for 3 weeks, so it's fine. You disconnect the 2 airbag connectors. These connectors are very easy to remove, you just have to pry them off with a screwdriver. There you go. 1. The horn connector is just a small terminal. There you go. The airbag, it's a Takata one. Next, be careful before removing your steering wheel. Make sure it's straight. Keep it straight, okay? To unscrew it, you need a Torx 50. There you go. And the trick is not to remove the screw all the way, because sometimes when you pull on the steering wheel, you see it doesn't come off. Sometimes it comes off suddenly and you hit your nose. You don't want that, so follow my advice. Put the key back in and straighten it. That's really important. Now you can remove the big screw. Yeah. And now you can remove the steering wheel. Be careful with all the connectors on the clock spring. The steering wheel is off. Next, dig through the parts you bought for your 206. And then you have a little blue box, usually Sparco, and inside that little box you have your new hub that's made specifically for the 206, multiplexed, so the phase 2s. And normally with the hub you get the screws for your new steering wheel, the terminals. Well, that's great. That's really well done. With a little resistor for the airbags. That allows you to trick the airbags so you don't get the warning light on the dashboard. We'll always have dashboard warning lights since we removed the seat and steering wheel airbags. Let's go ahead and install this.
Anthony, being a total wimp, couldn't handle the heat of this hot September day and had trouble speaking while installing this beautiful custom hub. Good thing he's not going to the desert in a month. Haha. Anyway, if this hub was easy to install, then let's move on to the steering wheel.
Excuse me, I'm having my snack. It's 5:44 p.m. New steering wheel? Impressive. Not sponsored, but I like the site. They have everything and deliver fast. The Allen key shows there are different ways to install it. I'm not sure if you can see, but the steering wheel has a spot for conical screws which come with the hub. Here are the conical screws. Or you can put this little metal cover here, which makes it look a bit more finished. And then you can use the flat screws like this. But I think I prefer the conical screws. It looks a bit more racing. But at the same time, the little ring is used to hold the horn. So I think we won't really have a choice, actually. That's just how it is.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so now we can take everything apart in the car. We can go ahead and put the steering wheel in place. We need to put the horn on first, yeah. Now you connect your two terminals. We try to keep the little buttons straight. Fascinating, isn't it?
No.
The little ring that will hold everything together and the screws. I tightened a few small screws and then we move on to the next step. I'm going to do it like the big YouTubers, you know? Ah, my Sony. It messed up my Sony. It didn't record. No, the truth is, another 2 hours just went by. Yeah, according to the clock, 5:44 p.m. Yeah, not that much time must have passed. But now we're about to lose it. Literally, I'm fed up for a whole bunch of reasons. First, when we made the roll cage with Leighton, we talked about that famous horizontal bar, and we said it absolutely had to be at the level of the bucket seat holes or lower. It turns out that since I'm a fucking idiot, I took my measurements to weld that bar when the seats weren't adjusted. So actually, before welding that bar, I should have installed my seat, installed my steering wheel, and adjusted my seat for my driving position. I didn't do it. Which means that now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the bar is actually higher than the holes in the seats, and that's really not recommended. It's just as bad to have the harness going upwards as it is to have the harness going straight down. So I'm just a bit annoyed. I'm going to do a bit more research on the internet. But from what I know, my setup is completely messed up. So now I'm thinking, okay, harnesses are really cool. It's a race car. We agree on that, yes. Aesthetically, there's nothing better than harnesses on bucket seats. Damn, seriously. When you see the car from the front with the harnesses and bucket seat, you think, wow, that's a stylish car. But actually, I think if it's to do a setup that's more dangerous than stock, knowing that it's not a race car, I just want the look of a race car, but in reality, it's just a stock 206 1.4 diesel. I'm thinking, wouldn't it be better to modify like the car's system to keep the original seat belts that are designed to save our lives, rather than putting in harnesses that could potentially just be more dangerous than the original seat belts? So, for the bucket seats, I'm really happy. I want the bucket seats because honestly, with bumps and everything, they're going to hold us in place. And honestly, it's going to keep us from getting hurt, from hitting our heads somewhere and all that, because the seat really does hold us in place. But if we have a crash, I still want to stay alive, you know? So now, the question is, do I put the seatbelts back in? But if I put the seatbelts back in, do I also need to put the driver's airbag back in? I'm not an automotive engineer and I have no qualifications in road safety. I have no idea. Damn. And that's when you realize I've grown up, huh? 28 years old, guys. I think 10 years ago, I would have been like, it's fine, it's all good. I'll just use a zip tie and it'll be just fine. Today, I'm asking myself new questions and sharing them online. Safety is crucial, especially since we'll be 3,000 kilometers from home. If something happens, it's a serious issue. So, I'll research it. I'll have to change everything either way and modify my seat brackets, even to reinstall the original seat belts. And if it's to install the airbag, I'll also have to modify the seat brackets, remove the seat belt to use the original seat belt mounts. In short, there's a bit of work to do in both situations. And the mosquitoes are back since it's already 5:44 p.m. Yeah, I need to think about it.
All right.
It must have been 2 or 3 hours again. Maybe my clock's off. It's still 5:44 p.m. I'm exhausted. It was 30 degrees in the workshop and I'm not used to that anymore. It really affects you. It's tough. Anyway, I chose the voice of reason. Look, I decided to completely disconnect the harness and I made some modifications to use the original seatbelt buckle. It goes through the eyelet of the bucket seat. I'll show you. I reused the original mounts for the seatbelt buckles and it's really good. First, I lowered the seat a bit. Getting in and out is easier, and importantly, the seatbelt now goes through the hole, fitting my body shape better. On this side, well, it's a bit trickier, but you have to thread the buckle through the hole in the bucket seat on this side. Earlier, I managed to do it just fine. I give it a bit of slack, I pass it through the hole, and then click. Honestly, for a car that's not a real race car, I think it's hard to do better. In case of an accident, the seatbelt locks. There's the pretensioner, everything you need. Sure, I don't have the airbag anymore. We'll leave it aside. It's a good compromise. No need to push things too far either. You see what I mean? There are still things to do, and it's late. I'm heading home, and we'll see how much progress I can make on the car tomorrow morning. It doesn't look like it, huh? But just putting in the second seat, putting in the harness, taking out the harness, putting in the seat belts, all the crap I didn't film, I spent a whole day and got nothing done. It's terrifying. All right, I'm out of here. I've had enough. Well guys, it's the next morning, it's pretty early, the sun hasn't been up for very long. It's 5:44 p.m. so that will let us get back to the 206. So as for the interior, well you saw it, I added some little window breaker tools with a seatbelt cutter. And over there, underneath, you can't really see it, but I added a small powder fire extinguisher. Better than nothing. It's right there, fixed under the glove box. The feet don't touch it, awesome. That's done. There are still several tasks left on the 206, but now we'll do something fun, the exhaust line. We need to do it anyway, so let's do it now. You see, originally the exhaust line goes like this. It comes here, so it obviously passes under the tank, right? From here we have the original tank, which obviously isn't there anymore since it almost burned down my entire garage. So the line goes like this. Right under the rear axle we have the muffler and it comes out here. Except now we don't have a bumper anymore, we don't have a tank anymore. And the muffler, we don't care. We really don't care at all. And also you see, this way of routing the exhaust line doesn't really work for us because it lowers our ground clearance. You see, like we could gain all that distance under the rear axle. We'll need to reroute the brake cables and attach them higher. What I'd really like is to add a 90-degree bend here. Bring our pipe here and make a 90-degree bend that goes down. Everything will be hidden and it will be impossible to see the exhaust line from outside the car. And so, it will definitely be impossible for the exhaust line to hit a rock under the car. That's the fun part. I'm pretty happy to be doing this. And obviously, I think in the next episode we'll install a decat in place of the catalytic converter. Why? And to do... Ouch, damn it, yeah, what I'm about to do isn't very clean, and now that's what we want. Yeah, it's not great, I'll clean that up. As usual, huh? Always the same? 5:44 p.m. Now I'm in a dilemma, a tuning type dilemma. Because you see, I did a good job prepping my exhaust. I started cutting my little pieces of pipe to make the section that's going to go right here. You see? The problem is actually, I'd like to have my exhaust higher. Did you hear that clunk? When I lift the end of the exhaust, the tip of it hits our big metal plate. And on top of that, I'm still going to lower the subframe. So, if I lower the subframe, I'll have to raise the exhaust on these mounts here. The problem is, if I lower my subframe, my big plate, my big metal sheet won't line up with the holes anymore. And I wanted to lower the subframe because actually I raised it too much. It's my 206. So now, the drive shafts I've already shown you, but I'll show you again. Well, here, it's fine. But here, on the other hand, it's not good at all. That's a good example. This isn't good at all. It's just not possible. You need to lower the subframe so the drive shaft angle is less steep. And the angle here of the drive shaft is also less steep. I don't know anymore. I don't know where to start. It's complicated. Because the skid plate that Amin gave me is made for stock cars. It's not made for lifted cars. Lifted. I'm a bit frustrated. I don't know where to start anymore. I tried to do too much here. Tuning, damn it. Once again, a few hours have just passed. It's 5:44 p.m. I think there's a real problem with this clock. So, what did I make? Spacers to lift the subframe. You should know that Ulysses had made me some small spacers like this. They're 20 millimeters high with a 13 millimeter hole so I can put my M12 bolts in. Very good, except, well, not really, because in the front it doesn't fit. Why? In the back of the subframe, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a big alignment pin that's 23 millimeters in diameter. And I realized that if you take a drive shaft nut from a 206 something I obviously have on hand, you see, well, inside it has a diameter of about 23. So inside I removed the threading, and that lets me have a perfect spacer. That's 26 millimeters. And I just got a metal shaving in my thumb. Damn, what a shitty day. Well, that problem is solved now, so that's what I did. To ensure equal height front and back, I used standard sockets. Since two drive shaft nuts are taller and I wanted them flat, I welded them this way. They're 26 high. So here, I added two washers, each 3 millimeters thick, and now, like this, we have our 4 washers that are the same height, so that's great. Now I'm going to add my 4 spacers to lower the subframe. But after that, it's probably going to put stress on the engine mounts, it's probably going to put stress on the steering column, it's probably going to... Well, let's install this and see what happens. It's hard. Okay, so one opposite. There you go, a screw. So of course, same thing, the screws, well, they're screws with the same thread as the original, but 2 centimeters longer. So I do that. Afterward, we'll need to redo the alignment and everything since the geometry will be messed up, you know? That's how you do a subframe lift, guys. Look at that, 30, 40 millions, 50 millions, I don't care. See, at least you've got some light there. Now you can see clearly. Now you can see clearly. Here, the light here, 50 millions. There, you can't see very well, but I don't care. These Sony cameras are good, they handle low light really well. Right, okay, we'll be back as soon as everything is tightened. I dropped the exhaust because I couldn't get the stabilizer bar loose, it was just stuck right above it. So now, at least that's done. And then, the exhaust line. For the tilt, well, now it's worse since the engine is lower than before. So what I'll do is just make a notch on the upper part of the exhaust. That way, I can raise the rear of the exhaust. And I'll redo a weld bead here. That way, it'll lift the whole rear of the exhaust for me. Which, as a result, should end up at this height instead of being here. So that's one thing. Second thing, as I explained to you, since I lowered the subframe, the holes in this plate here no longer line up at all. Since I lowered everything by 2.6 centimeters, these holes will end up being 2.6 centimeters too low. So I would need to add some material here. Am I going to do that? I don't know. What is certain is that I will modify this plate to suit my needs. I think I'll keep the two bottom holes. By the way, speaking of the two bottom holes, I welded some nuts here. Here and here. Yeah, that's the drive shaft, don't worry. At least I have mounting points here for my plate. So, I think I'll keep these two mounting points. So I'll keep these 2 points here and I'll modify those ones. That should work. So I'm going to lift the car. Then, thanks to all my muscles, I should be able to do it. Oh, no way, I'll never make it. The plate weighs as much as I do. Damn, this is what I don't want to keep. I think I'll have to cut here and weld the new feet on top. Because I'm thinking that if I don't change the lower anchor points, the plate will tilt even more than before since it'll be 2.5 centimeters lower than before. So, we'll do that, we'll keep the two mounting points, that way everything lines up. It may seem like I'm joking, but it's really heavy. Probably around 30 kilos. 50, 100, 100. Sorry for the guys who designed this plate, but I'm going to use a grinder on it. Damn, I forgot to film. I'll show you when it's done because you just get confused. I know that very well. It's the next morning, usually the last filming day before publishing because it's Saturday and you'll see the video on Sunday. So I managed to rig up a little something. Actually, I just forced it really hard and it fit. Which seems cool, but it's not, because the tension is so high you can't remove the plate without a pit jack. And if I ever have a problem in Morocco, I don't think I'll have a lift or a pit jack available. So basically the plate can't be removed. I'm pulling with all my weight, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So basically what I tried to do here is to cut here so I could lower my plate by 2 centimeters. You can see the height I changed on the other side. Tack, tack. This stays fixed here. That way I still have my spot for my bumper and for my nut in this little thing. I put it in the right place, lower my plate, and redo a weld bead. I think it's a good idea. And here basically I do the same thing. Zip, zap, I lower it and weld a plate. It's doable. But actually I thought, why not try to straighten out this fold here, which could potentially give me a little more space. Then I remembered, well, it's 5 millimeters thick, so I'm not going to bend much. I'll cut and weld.
Hop, hop. Production issue. Voiceover intervention. Anthony didn't record any segment to say he was going to work on the exhaust now that the plate situation is sorted out. Where is the world headed if the voiceover must deal with this? Let's move on to the exhaust.
Alright guys, what I'm about to tell you, I ask you not to take it as a joke. But basically, you take Clayton from Knoll Steelworks, you take Louis Schmidt from EMS, you take Peter and Steven from ProWeld, and you replace them all with me. I think that's it now. My exhaust building and welding level, whatever you want to call it, is up there now. Get ready to forget everything you know about welding and exhaust work, because this surpasses absolutely everything that's ever been done on the French YouTube scene. I even brushed everything, I put on some rust proofing there, not bad. So, I made a little bracket here, you see it's clean, there's not even a trace of the grinder behind it. I cut this bracket, I put a bit of Blackson on it, this one, that's the nicest. The notch I made, look, you can't even tell it's there. I'm joking, just kidding for a minute, but honestly, it's not that bad what I did. Why did I do that? Because the exhaust line is now above the rear axle, which is great. It should be fixed up there. Honestly, it's perfect, I'm really happy. I'm not sure what to think, but I'm happy and excited to hear it run. Right now, the car still has the catalytic converter, but I have something to show you. A decat pipe. It's used to remove the catalytic converter. The catalytic converter, yeah. So, I suggest we install this right away. At least it'll be done. We can say the exhaust line is finished. Amin brought this back for me from Morocco. It was made by a Moroccan welder. I'm really happy. We've got a little Moroccan part on our 206. That's awesome. And as for the catalytic converter, it's pretty easy. First, you have to remove this kind of heat shield. Well, it's seen better days. I'm not sure I want to put it back on in this condition. Maybe there are a bit of damage that are, yeah, maybe it's my fault. Then, it's pretty easy. You take off the top clamp here. The bottom clamp, of course, which is there. Identify two large mounting bolts, one here, one on the other side. After removing them, drop the catalytic converter. I'll do it from underneath. Ah, that's cool. It's not stuck. The advantage of working on cars that aren't too old is that things aren't too seized up, so that's cool. Well, not too old. What is this? This thing is from 2001. Yeah, for me, the idea of an old car is really skewed. For me, a 2001 car isn't an old car. Why remove the catalytic converter? Because in the next episode, we're doing a tune-up. My friend at DG Performance in the South will help. The episode airs next Sunday. Yeah, right now, I'm busting my ass so you can have some good quality video to watch. And a big thanks to Constant, the editor, who's doing an exceptional job right now. Thanks for your white neck, man. Honestly, it's worth it. Say it in the comments, okay? A big thanks to Constant. It's always nice to read. Anyway, yeah, a big tune-up coming. The goal is to free up the exhaust, free up the intake so it makes noise and smokes, because on a diesel engine, the more diesel you inject, the louder the exhaust gets. So, the goal is to free all that up to have a car that's unbearable. I want it to be a real race car, you know. Watch out for the catalytic converter. Well, it's never been this easy. Oh well, damn. Sorry, I mean, the deal was that I'd give him my catalytic converter in exchange for the decat, but now, well, my catalytic converter is worth nothing at all. It burns your nose. And you see, once the catalytic converter is out, well, we have space in front, and that's pretty cool, even for working and all, if we have to take things apart. That thing will be done much faster. Very nice. Ah, damn. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been on this non-stop for a week, so I'm super happy because the car has had a ton of work done on it. It's awesome. I've made a ton of progress. So, the video comes out tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock in exactly 24 hours, and after that, I already have a little list in mind of what we'll have to do in the next episode, which comes out in a week, and that really gets me hyped. Actually, I set myself challenges. I set challenges for myself because otherwise, I procrastinate, don't progress, or work on other cars. Once this is done and we've returned from Morocco, oh damn. Yes. After that, it's going to be non-stop mode on the 505. And then I find a rhythm which is very tiring, but man, the dopamine, damn, it feels good. I'm going to lower the car. And so, it's probably going to fall off the bridge, huh? I don't know. I put it in gear and pulled the handbrake, but I'm going to see what happens if it flexes a little. Since I removed the front stabilizer bar, I'm curious to see if it's going to do something cool or just fall off the bridge. I have no idea. Okay, it doesn't really flex. It's still a 206, you know? The rear axle is a stabilizer bar. Inside the beam, if you didn't know, there's a stabilizer bar, so... And you can't remove it. Well, there's no point in removing it. It's still pretty cool, you know? And in the front, it flexes a little. Damn, that's not bad, huh? It's good, right? Honestly, at stock height with original shocks, it wouldn't feel like this. Seeing a 206 like this excites me. Because yeah, I still have a lot of things to do on the car, but overall, I'm super happy with what I've just done here in a week. So basically, what did we do? Change the 4 injectors. Yeah, the car sounds like a beast. I'm waiting for a package from Chatrex, the auto salvage yard and sponsor of this and the 206 adventure. Changed the 4 injectors, made an airbox and snorkel. Yeah, we're gonna put some kind of sand filter on the roof rack, and the goal is to connect the sand filter to the flow meter and then to the turbo. That's gonna be pretty cool. Attach the roof rack, do the timing belt and accessory kit tomorrow, the same day the video releases. Install front brakes from a 206 S16 and bleed the brake fluid. Close the 2 front rocker panels. Install the intercooler. I'm installing a 1.6 HDI intercooler at the front and planning to make a spare wheel mount. It should be cool and my idea might inspire others. Basically, I'm going to weld a plate down there on the trunk, about 2 or 3 millimeters thick. I'll do the same thing here on the spoiler. And from there to there, I'm going to make a kind of hoop made of square tubing where I can mount the spare wheel. That way, well, we don't lose any ground clearance underneath. We won't put any weight on the roof rack because it'll probably be used to carry supplies and other equipment. We don't lose any interior space since a roll cage inside actually takes up quite a bit. You'll see more about this in the next episode. Install the 5 new tires since, of course, there will be a spare wheel. Replace the left front drive shaft. Bleed the cooling system. Install the new fuel tank with the vent, the new hoses that go all the way to the engine, and so on and so forth. It's going to be horrible, but I'm really looking forward to doing it. Install all the decals and sponsor logos. Do something cool on the rear windows, which is really nice. And obviously we'll finish with the tune. Wow. It was an exceptional week. Thank you for watching this video, for following this adventure a little bit. It's not over. I'll see you next week for the new episode of the 206, and thank you for being here. I'm super happy. Damn, it's starting to come together. It feels so good.